You are listening to 90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second half of the only wrestling talk show here on WHPC. Welcome to Takedown Breakdown, also now on YouTube.com. I'm your host, as always, Josh Soberg. With me, Lyle Gillen. And right now, we are going to start the second half of Takedown Breakdown. Also, Justin Carciolo out. He'll be back with us next week. So I left this off with a rumor, and I left you all with a hint of what could it possibly be. And I think I said Mickey Mouse. So I thought
Yeah,
that was pretty good. So um, the reason I said Mickey Mouse was due to the following. Um, the fact of the matter is is that there are reports out there that I believe it's ESPN and Fox are trying to buy the rights to WWE, and of course, ESPN is owned by the Disney company in general and everything like that. So the rumors of this happening, um, I'm the kind of I'm gonna wait and see it to believe it, you know, with something like this because this is a big transaction that could be taking place and could be happening. I know I forget where I saw it first. I saw it, and then Lyle sent me something, and then my dad sent me something, and again I said I'm going to wait to see it to believe it. I know who was the one that started the rumor? It was Gus Mantel, whatever his name is.
Dutch Mantel.
Yeah, Dutch Mantel, who used to work for WWE. He's got some friends that still work for him.
He went. What's his name? Uh,
He managed Jack
Jack
Swagger.
Swagger.
Yeah.
He was with Jack Swagger. I forget what he was called there.
He managed Jack Swagger, and he did some voiceovers for Dark Side of the Ring in the first season.
Yeah, he did.
So,
That's right.
I mean, his voice, you know his voice when you hear it. So the rumor has it, like I said, the WWE could be being sold with everything going on and everything like that. The thought about it, Lyle, what is your take on this whole thing?
I have mixed feelings. I honestly don't know how I feel.
So you don't want Mickey Mouse running it?
I did not say that. I want anybody but Vince McMahon to be running WWE because he does not know what he's doing anymore. And I don't want to say I don't want Disney running it because I don't know what they would do. They would probably put someone in charge who's more of a wrestling mind.
Hopefully.
They could put Paul Heyman to run everything, which if you give him free reign and you take away the TVPG, he could make it insanely good. The thing is, it could be very good if they bought it, or very bad. And I know how it could end up is it could go, oh yay, no more Vince McMahon, and 2 years later, wow, it was way better with Vince McMahon. And I feel like I'm in the middle of, I don't know if I want to take that risk or not, and I honestly have no idea. I really don't.
That was like such a build up, and then it was just I don't know.
I really don't know. Vince is so bad.
I have a big concern now if they do sell. I think it's I mean, would they let Triple H stay? But the other thing too is would it be all for Triple H stay? That's the thing. I also don't think it's fair. Triple H put this whole thing. Triple H put it by himself. Yeah. I think they give him the option. I think he should be allowed to stay, and Vince shouldn't hold it against him.
I think though that what's most likely happening is WWE is folding the network, and they are selling libraries that are no use to them to ESPN and Fox, and they are going to be giving their pay-per-view rights to ESPN Plus. I think that is most likely going to be happening. Because WWE can still sell the footage of old shows that they don't need anymore. They bought specifically for the network and still own the rights to those shows and own the names of everybody in there and the copyrights. But I don't think there is any chance of them selling. I think
No.
that ultimately it's going to be they're going to sell libraries that they don't need to ESPN, who could put it on ESPN Classics, put it on ESPN Plus, and I think it's going to be more of a semi-merger with ESPN Plus.
And don't show
Than
WrestleMania 32 again. There's better WrestleManias. Don't show that again if you're ESPN. Please. There's better ones to show.
which
But
one was that?
they showed that was one in Dallas. They showed 30. They showed 31, which was amazing. The 31 was phenomenal.
That was
Where
a very good
oh my
WrestleMania.
god, that was the best WrestleMania I've seen in I can't remember how long. Um, but I mean, I agree with you to the standpoint of I mean, like I said, I just have concerns about NXT. Um, I would imagine
Yeah,
if they're sold and they let Paul Heyman run Raw and they let Bruce Pritchard run SmackDown and they let Triple H run NXT, I'm totally fine with it because then what it does is it creates complete creative control to those guys who, um, in my opinion, I think they have endless uber amount of ideas. You know, I think Paul Heyman is one of the best geniuses in the business. Bruce Pritchard was one of the head writers during the Attitude Era, and Triple H helped create NXT. So I think you need to give those guys the chance to succeed without Vince being over their shoulder and say, "No, this is done. This is not going to work."
my problem with Vince McMahon is, and I'm going to give it the
We have a
credit
lot of
to
problems with him.
well, one of my bigger issues, and I'm going to give this guy credit. As much as me and him have completely opposite wrestling views, he is 100% right about this. Vince McMahon is a Jim Cornette. Vince McMahon does not want to have a wrestling company. He wants an entertainment company. And I hate it as there are so many people who go, it's not wrestling, it's sports entertainment. That term was created by Vince McMahon for the sole purpose of having it be a entertainment thing. To validate Vince McMahon having the stupid stuff we see on Raw and SmackDown that is just, why is Hornswoggle Vince McMahon? Like, that was so bad.
Well, kind of interesting. I'm sorry.
No.
I was going to say, kind of interesting that you brought that up because the Dark Side of the Ring episode last week, that was what David Schultz was fighting for when he hit the reporter on Dark Side of the Ring because he said that wrestling is entertainment. Schultz said no. Vince got upset, and then Vince was making the whole thing. He went to the I forget the sport I can't remember where he went, Vince, for a meeting, and they changed it now sports entertainment. And that's what David Schultz fought for. And basically threw David Schultz under the bus by changing it to sports entertainment. And you know, when you look back on it, it's just a crazy thing that Vince created the mantra of the sports entertainment thing. He did. You know, go back to look, WrestleMania 3. I'll go back. Andre versus Hogan. It's a memorable match. It was a memorable match, but it was entertainment. It wasn't a wrestling match. I mean, it was entertainment. You know, I enjoy watching it, but it's not a wrestling match.
If you go back and ask any wrestler from the Attitude Era today, are you an entertainer or are you a professional wrestler? They can say, oh, I'm an entertainer. Say, I'm a professional wrestler. They call themselves an athlete. They call it a sport. But why do we have to have the people who are outside wrestling call it sports entertainment?
Like it's a weird term that's a strong term in the business. That I think it gets thrown around too much. To the point where I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know how to put it when you get to because it's such a I've watched you know me I've watched wrestling. What am I? I just turned 29 last what was it last Friday. I've been watching
You
wrestling
should
since
know.
I was watching wrestling since I was 5 to 15, 15 to 25. So about 24 years, I believe. I've watched wrestling.
You're worried it took you that long to subtract 29 minus 5.
Yeah, well, you know,
Yeah,
I've done worse. I have done worse, you know. So,
Yes.
um, but oh, we could count the things you've done. Don't even get me started. Um, you know, um, when it comes to the point of the whole thing, like I said, remember when WCW was sold to AOL, and Time Warner, and it didn't work out, and that's the fear that we have. Is I mean, look, WWE is never going to go under. They're never going to
No.
go out of business. You know, they're the one. They are the one brand that I can sit here and say, no matter how bad it gets, how bad they do, how much money they lose, they will never go out of business. Vince McMahon could be long gone, but the brand itself will never go down. That's the point because they're the pioneer of wrestling, you know, and that's why they will still have their fan bases. They are, and today,
A pioneer? I don't agree. A pioneer.
no,
They're the pioneer of
no,
having.
I'm saying of today. I'm saying of today.
They're the pioneer of having a national wrestling company. But
Yeah,
yes, that they're a pioneer of. But they're
yeah,
not
that's
a
what I'm saying. They're
pioneer.
the pioneer of the wrestling industry. They were before New Japan and Ring of Honor and all those companies. They were. You can't say
And
they're
there was
not.
the NWA was the
They were.
wrestling before
They
them.
were, but then they were out for a while, and now they just recently came back, and they're doing it on YouTube. They don't have a network
No, they were
channel.
around. They just didn't have
They
a
didn't have the
TV.
networking.
They had
WWE
nothing.
had the networking. That's the thing.
Yeah, but they were not the pioneer. There were other companies around.
I'm saying no, no.
WWE
I'm
said
not saying of back then. You're missing what I'm saying. I'm saying of today's companies. I think they're up there as the pioneer because they were the first one to get a network TV deal, to go down with the viewership, to start the branding of having viewership with channels such as USA Network and all that. When they got Monday Night Raw in '92, they got all
well,
that first.
they also had TNT and TBS, but those fell through.
That's the thing; those fell through. And
Yeah.
they also had WWE had Saturday Night Main Event on NBC. They
Yep.
had Saturday Night Main Event on NBC. So that's why I understand what you're saying with NWA, but NWA, the branding never came close to what
They
WWE
pioneered
was.
national television or a
Yes.
national company. That's what they pioneered.
Well, like if you want to go pioneers, we could go back to the 40s and 50s. You want to go
Well,
back
before
that
that,
far?
100 years
I
ago.
mean, but I'm talking about pioneers of being in the television industry and the global industry. They were the ones that started the whole thing. They were the ones that did it. And out of all the territory businesses, they're the ones that are still really. I mean, other than NWA, they're standing. You know, they. You know, I mean, all those other territories are gone. They're all out. None of them survived. Uh, some have tried to put WWE out of business, have failed. WCW being one. Uh, TNA tried it too. No, they
Did they
did.
try and put it out of business?
Look at the guys they signed, and look how much money they signed them for. They had money,
I think they just wanted to compete.
and I can tell you one thing. I can tell you, Bischoff was trying again because he knew he
No,
failed.
he said it in an interview. The only reason he went there was because of Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, because
He
of
didn't,
Hogan.
and he only went there because Hogan handpicked him. He said if Hogan wasn't there, he never would have went back there. Didn't want to do anything with wrestling, and he hated the company. He hated everything about them. He
Well,
didn't want
yeah,
to be.
everybody hated
And he
Dixie
said he
Carter and
didn't.
everything.
He said he didn't end up liking it, and for a few years afterwards, um, which just ended up happening. But he said that he didn't want to be there. He didn't want anything to do with it, and he said he kind of had a little bit of an itch for wrestling, but he really didn't want to be in TNA.
No,
That's what
I mean, and I don't blame him. It was I mean, they one of the things that TNA was known for was their six-sided ring. It was different. It stood out. It was very different. It was very popular.
he did that too.
I was a big fan of the six-sided ring, and Hogan wanted to go back to a generic four-sided ring, and it was stupid. It stood out. It was creative, and the fans liked it. You know,
Here's the reason why, and I agree with Hogan about this. I if it's the reason why I think he did it to get the casual viewer. The casual viewer is going to tune in and see a six-sided ring and be like, "What is that?"
It was working
Wow, that's
before Hogan
cool.
took over.
Huh?
It was working before Hogan took over.
It
They
was,
had
but
they had just gotten a
were
deal with
they
FS
gaining
with Fox
viewers?
Sports. Yeah, they had just gotten a big deal with Spike TV, and then Hogan took over. They had the Ultimate X match. They had the lock. They were the first pay per view to have an all steel cage pay per view where every match was a steel cage. Um, they had all that, and it was an NWA feud at first because they were in a little arena in Universal Studios. It was like a mini arena. I was at one of their shows in 2005. I was at the
You were
first.
close and personal with AJ Styles.
I was. Let me tell you, I was at um the first ever
Here we go.
lockdown pay per view. I was at the first ever lockdown pay per view, and it was an NWA feel. There was maybe, give or take, maybe 1,500 people. I mean, it wasn't any, you know what I mean? It was an old style feel. It was doing well. Fox Sports had owned them at first, and then Fox Sports sold them to Spike. And then Hulk took over, and it just went downhill from there at
And
that point. They started
they
trying to
had a
change too many
partnership.
things.
They had a partnership with NWA at the beginning,
Yeah. And
and
New Japan too.
that broke up.
New
That
Japan
broke
too.
the NWA deal broke up because they were doing too many uh not clean finishes. I don't know how to really call it that the right term. I'm drawing a blank here, but they didn't have many clean finishes, and NWA felt like it was tainting the title, so they cut off that relationship.
Yeah, and then they had a partnership. They had a partnership with New Japan. One of the main events at Wrestle Kingdom 5 was for the TNA Heavyweight Championship. It was Jeff Hardy versus Tetsuya Naito at Wrestle Kingdom 5. Um, Way back when Naito, before he was the LIJ leader. So, you know, that they had a great part. I mean, in that pay per view too, at Wrestle Kingdom, they had Yano versus RVD. So it's crazy when you look back.
I love Yano.
You know, they had. I mean, the great. I remember Jushin Thunder Liger fought Samoa Joe at Turning Point, in a match. Great Muda came back for a match.
Wow.
It was just, I mean, they really missed the boat with some of these things, and then Hogan took over, and then all their partnerships were pretty much gone. Jeff Jarrett was doing a really good job at running the company. They sold it. Jarrett was no longer in charge, and it was just like they were signing old wrestler after old wrestler after old wrestler. I mean, it was like, I
Um,
mean, Flair retired from WrestleMania,
Okada,
and they signed him to TNA. It was just like, ugh.
Okada said something on Instagram. Someone asked him a question in English. If he would go to WWE, AEW, and then one other company, which one would he go to? And he answered TNA. If
God,
you remember back, he had
he
a
was
very
in it.
bad experience.
Yeah, he did.
He had a very bad experience there.
He was a jobber.
He was. It
He
was
was a,
Okada,
yeah, it was a. Yep, I
and it
remember.
was like a Green Hornet type gimmick or
Yeah,
something. And New Japan hates TNA, and they won't trust Impact, and that's why they're no longer on Access because they don't trust them, and they
yeah,
don't want to have a partnership with them.
yep. I don't blame them, and it's it's. I mean, look, when you go back and watch Wrestle Kingdom 5, um, it's a it's a very young Tetsuya Naito with orange hair. He looks starstruck, um, overwhelmed, versus Jeff Hardy, who I'm convinced was, honestly, when you watch his entrance, he looked like he was high before the match. Um, and it was just, and actually the RVD Yano match, that was actually how Yano came out as Yano today, was after that match. That's when he started bringing out the comedy, was in that match, against RVD, as coincidental as that is. So if you have New Japan, what is it, New Japan World, you could go back, you can watch it. Um, I've actually watched. No, I haven't watched. I watched the Brock Lesnar New Japan match.
It's not on
Um,
New Japan World though.
it's
He
not on
won't let them
World.
have the right.
No, it's not on
Yeah, he
World.
won't.
It's on YouTube. I watched it on YouTube. It was
Yeah,
him versus Nakamura.
He won't let them
Um,
have the rights for that, which
no,
is
I know.
weird. It's it's really stupid, but
And again, you're
in the
listening to 90
correlate, they
point.
can't do
Again, you're listening to 90.3 WHPC, the voice of NASA Community College, and on YouTube as well. I'm Josh Severick along with Lyle Gillen. This is Takedown Breakdown. Justin Caracciolo will be back with us next week. So we got about we have a good amount of time. So we were discussing before with the selling, with the selling point and everything like that of WWE. In your mind, if Disney were to buy them per se, does their networking get moved all around? Do they just like Raw go to ESPN? Actually, Raw can't go to ESPN because of Monday Night Football during the year. Like, would they go maybe to like ABC or something like that, or would it still stay with like USA Network and they keep everything status quo?
I don't think they would change much. I think that it might be a little it would be interesting how their relationship with Fox would be because Fox owns the SmackDown rights.
Isn't Fox trying to bid
And
too? I think I saw something like that.
Fox is yes,
They're trying to
but
bid.
if
Okay.
yeah, that's what he said. Dutch said it was Fox or ESPN.
Okay.
Um, but what some people are going around saying that it's Fox and ESPN, and Disney owns both of them, but Disney owns Fox Studios, not Fox.
Yes.
Um, so I don't know, like I don't think they would change much, like programming wise. I think they would take the network and essentially put it on ESPN Plus, and that would increase ESPN Plus's profit margin pretty large. It
Oh, for
would a lot
sure.
of people would come over. Um,
But the
it would
network would
be
be completely gone.
I think so. Yeah, it would be stupid for them to have two different streaming
No, I
networks.
agree. I'm just curious how many people would be buying their pay-per-views then.
Not much
That's what
because
I'm
they would put
saying.
them at $60 and
No.
or 55. They would put
Is
them at 55, and then it would the same thing as UFC, and then it'll be 55, $65 a month for the pay-per-views.
is Double or Nothing? They're still charging $50 for it, right?
I haven't heard. Um, think it should be 30. But I don't know.
I was thinking it should be a little lower than 50, but we'll see. I mean, Cody's always a man of the people, so we'll see. Um, I'm kind of
It's not
curious.
up to him though. It's not up to him.
No,
It's up
it's
to
not.
BR.
It's up to Khan and it's up to the fight, all the guys
No,
that
it's not to
fight.
him either.
It's up to the
It's up to
networks.
BR Live. It's up to them.
That's
It's up to
but
pay per
no, but
view.
I said it was up to Khan, Cody, and the networks to discuss.
Khan and Cody have no say in it.
No, they don't, but they
They
could discuss it. It's
no.
their company.
They can say, hey, we don't $50 is too much.
Sure,
But if
and
we
then
are live and fight want to charge more,
yeah, of course.
we can.
No, of course, but I would imagine if they're going to have a meeting about price of pay per view, you would have the president of the company involved in it as well. Otherwise, that's kind of
Oh yeah,
wrong.
but
That's kind of wrong.
ultimately the decision is not in their hands.
No, of course. All right, so we got a few minutes left. Um, Lyle, if you want to get to your finisher right now,
Why don't you go first?
you want me to go first?
I always
Okay.
go first. You go
All right.
first this time.
All right. So my finisher is pretty much this as follows. I don't think we need to pick and choose what side of the realm we're on in regards to liking AEW or NXT. I like both shows. To me, I think both have their ups. I think both have their downs. Um, I think AEW has been the better show, but I don't think it matters. I like both shows still. I will continue to support NXT. I will continue to support AEW. Um, I'll continue. I bought some stuff from Ring of Honor a couple of days ago to support them because they don't have any shows going on right now. Um, and whatever anything that can help goes a long way. And then I also did my shout out last week for Howard Finkel because I could not believe we didn't say anything 2 weeks ago. I was so distraught by that. So I made up for it. So again, I'm sending it out. The thoughts and prayers are with Howard Finkel, the greatest ring announcer in wrestling history. There will never be another one like him. With thoughts and prayers for his family, his loved ones, his friends, everything like that. he's one of a kind for sure. He's got that voice. When you hear the WrestleMania name, it's symbolic and it means something. So definitely a big shout out to Howard Finkel.
My turn. You're good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. I'm gonna say Double or Nothing. We really don't know much of the card, and a lot of their talent can't be there. And I have a couple theories of what they might do. They're still kind of pushing that uh, the Elite versus Inner Circle rivalry. I think the plan right now is to have them do the blood and guts match at Double or Nothing. Uh, but if they can't do that, if the Bucks and Hangman aren't able to travel there, well, hey, the top singles wrestler right now in the men's division, besides Cody, because he can't compete for the AEW championship. But the top wrestler right now is Kenny Omega, which will be very, very interesting if we get Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley too for the championship. I'll be very, very interested in that. And I would love to see Omega win. I'm a big Omega fan. But I'm very interested in seeing what they end up doing. I think if the Young Bucks have a match, I would not be shocked if the Revolt, which is a terrible name, and they stole it from an indie wrestling faction. Um, I think that they could debut at Double or Nothing and attack them.
That would be phenomenal for sure. All right, Lyle, always a pleasure talking to you. I'm glad to see you and everybody is doing well. Justin Carasilla will be back with us next week. Keep listening to us. Keep following us on YouTube.com, Instagram. Not Instagram. Sorry, we don't do Instagram. Facebook, Twitter, everything. There's all content that's going on there constantly. We want to hear your feedback as well. Continue to listen also Monday nights right here on WHBC at 11 p.m. to 12 a.m. That time will never change. Have a great, healthy, and safe rest of your week, everybody. Take care and have a good night.